90% of all Amazon accounts we've audited over the past few years are missing the same 5 low-hanging fruits. They are losing thousands of dollars every year with conversion rates running well below what those products could deliver. For our team, finding these leaks takes 6 minutes, while sellers trying to spot them alone can spend days wondering why their account isn't growing without ever finding the answer. The lift, once handled correctly, is massive and changes how your account performs from that point forward. By the end of this video, you will have a checklist you can run on your own account today and see exactly where the gaps are. Hi, my name is Kleidas. I'm the founder and CEO of AMZBs, a full-service Amazon account management agency. I've spent more than 10 years in the Amazon ecosystem managing hundreds of 7- and 8-figure brands and auditing thousands. Everything I'm sharing in this video comes from audits we've done over the past 12 months. So let's start with the first low-hanging fruit: A+ content and brand story translations. We check this on every account we audit. And the best part is that we don't even need access to the account. All we have to do is open the listing on Amazon.com, switch the language to Spanish, and scroll down to the A+ section. If the visuals are still in English, we know that the brand is leaving money on the table. Amazon auto-translates the text portion of the content, but the images don't translate. You have to upload the translated version of the brand story and A+ content yourself. There are over 42 million Spanish speakers in the US. And according to a 2025 Think Now research study, 53% of US Hispanic adults look for websites or retailers that offer Spanish language options. We absolutely want to convert this audience. Amazon only allows specific languages to be uploaded to the A+ and brand story. For example, in the US, it's Hebrew and Spanish. In Germany, it's English, Czech, Danish, Polish, and Dutch, and in Canada, it's French. We need every advantage we can get against our competitors, and a listing optimized for multilingual demographic is one of the small ways we can increase the conversion rate of these customers. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. A few months ago, we launched a brand in a $500 million annual subscribe and save niche. Before launching, we found that very few big competitors were ranking on Spanish terms or had Spanish A+ content in their listings. In the first month, we fully focused on only Spanish keywords to get initial traction and reviews. We put Spanish keywords in the backend, we ran ads in Spanish, and we fully uploaded A+ content in Spanish. The majority of our initial reviews, excluding Vine Voices, were in Spanish. Now, the listing has over 230 reviews, and it's slowly gaining traction amongst more competitive English search terms. By month 3, the listing became profitable, selling 2,000 units a month. The second low-hanging fruit we find while auditing Amazon accounts is the backend search terms field. Amazon also calls it the generic keywords field. This is the SEO input that carries the most weight in any listing. The way a brand fills this field tells us everything about how serious their team or their current agency takes Amazon SEO. You'll find it under Edit Listing, then Product Details tab, in the generic keyword field. There are 3 mistakes we see in almost every account regarding this. First, duplicate keywords. Most sellers stuff the generic keywords field with words that are already in their title, bullets, or description. Amazon simply ignores duplicate keywords in the search term fields. Its purpose is to include words that do not fit anywhere else in your listing. Every word you duplicate in this field is simply ignored and takes up space. Keep in mind that Amazon only indexes the first 1,000 bytes of your bullet points. Anything beyond that is just invisible. So you can and should include most important words from that overflow segment in your backend. The next mistake is using full phrases and separating them with commas. That's wrong on both counts. Amazon's own documentation says to use individual words separated by spaces, no commas. Commas take up valuable space. We still see commas and phrases stuffed in this field on most accounts we audit. Then there's the third mistake, and it's the simplest one. The field gets left almost empty. The limit is 249 bytes in most categories, 499 in some. The average account we see uses maybe 50 bytes with one generic placeholder phrase. A properly used backend field contains individual words that fill the entire byte limit. The list should include synonyms, common misspellings, use case terms, and Spanish keywords. These can't go into the visible front end of the listing, but the backend gives you the room to include them. Number 3 in the low-hanging fruit list is unit economics visibility. Usually, during the first audit meeting, we learn that people working on the brand, whether it's an agency or an in-house team, do not have any visibility into daily per SKU economics. Most brands rely on quarterly or, if they're lucky, monthly reports from their accountant. The operations team have no dashboard pulling in advertising spend, FBA fees, referral fees, storage fees, reimbursements, returns, and all the other charges Amazon is hitting you with. There are over 20 to 30 different fees that Amazon can charge you every month, and without a tool that aggregates them per SKU on a daily basis, you're essentially flying blind. The tool we use at AMZBs for our 3P partners is Sellerboard. There's an affiliate link in the description that gives you 2 months free if you want to try it. Helium 10 also has a profitability dashboard too. Both tools include the automatic review request automation at no extra cost, which is 2 wins from 1 subscription. Now, let me show you how serious this gets. We partnered with a sports and outdoors brand a few years back, generating around $6 million in annual revenue on Amazon. Once we got the Sellerboard dashboard live and entered all of their landed cost of goods and associated costs, we found something nobody expected. The account has been bleeding $30,000 to $40,000 a month for over a year. Nobody had noticed because the offline business was 15 to 20 times larger than the Amazon channel and simply absorbing the loss. Now, we fixed the bleeding by clearing excess stock, cutting a chunk of advertising spend that wasn't producing any results, stopping the replenishment of a dozen products with terrible unit economics for this channel, and turning their account into a growth engine within a few months. Having a profitability dashboard for daily account operations is no longer optional. Amazon raises fees multiple times a year, and without per SKU visibility, you can't see which products absorb those increases and which ones simply flipped into negative margin. Now, before we get into the last 2 low-hanging fruits, if you found any of the tips I've shared so far useful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can learn more about growing your brand on Amazon. And as a thank you for doing that, here's a picture of a curious hedgehog. The 4th low-hanging fruit and a huge tell on how the account is being managed is advertising in budget time. Go to Amazon Ads, open the budgets view, and look at in-budget percentage column for the last 30 days. What you want to see is 98 to 100% on the campaigns that are spending any significant amount. Here's a screenshot from an audit we're running right now. The brand has a campaign with an ACoS of 17%, but it has been in budget only for 63% of the time. Amazon's own dashboard estimates they're missing $700 to $2,000 in sales from that one campaign every single month. So why does this matter so much? Well, most sales on Amazon happen in the evening. People come home from work, they log into their laptops, PCs, or phones, and that's when they buy. Conversion rate is the highest during these hours. And a campaign that runs out of budget at 4 p.m. simply misses the last 8 hours of the peak buying. So the competitor who kept their budget in play, they pick up those sales instead. The hidden cost is bigger than people realize. A major factor in taking campaigns from 40% ACoS down to 20% with higher total sales has been keeping them in budget throughout peak evening hours when the conversion rate is the highest. Advertising spend should be managed by optimizing bids and placements, not by limiting the daily budget line. We always want to make sure we are leaving 20 to 30% of the daily budget unspent at the end of the day. So if your dashboard looks anything like the example I've just shown, ask your agency one question. Is there a specific strategy behind being out of budget in the evenings? If they don't have a clear answer, you found the problem. Now, the 5th low-hanging fruit is A/B testing through Amazon's Manage Your Experiments tool. We check whether the brand has ever run any experiments and when the last one was. Most haven't run them in months, sometimes years, and usually ever. You can test every important element of your listing through this tool: the main image, your title, bullets, description, A+ content, and even your brand story. Amazon also lets you run multi-attribute experiments. allowing you to test your main image, title, and bullet points at the same time. Most teams say they don't have the bandwidth to set up A/B tests, but the cost of skipping them is invisible until you see what a really good one does. We ran dozens of experiments for the main image of an 8-figure brand. During the experiment on our main variation, sales for the winning image increased by $22,000, with $9,000 of that coming from search alone. Most initial experiments didn't show significant results, but we constantly kept iterating by slightly modifying the winning image after every concluded A/B test until we found the breakthrough. Once we rolled out the winning image style across the full brand's catalog, the account-wide monthly sales increased by 5%. And the only significant change during that time was the main image, which is the highest leverage visual on your entire listing. Now, if you watched this so far, it means you really care about growing your brand on Amazon. And that's why I'll share a bonus low-hanging fruit that most brands completely ignore. And that is virtual bundles. A virtual bundle takes 2 or 5 of your existing FBA ASINs and combines them into one single listing. You don't need to send any new inventory, and there are no additional fulfillment fees. Amazon simply ships the products separately when the customer makes a purchase. It is generally recommended to offer a small discount to incentivize the customers to buy the bundle. Now, they work especially well if your catalog has multiple colors, designs, scents, or complementary products. Anywhere you have 3 or more related SKUs, there's a bundle waiting to be created. Most brands still haven't picked up on the fact that since 2025, Amazon now lets you run sponsored product ads on virtual bundles. That is a major shift because sponsored products is the largest ad placement on Amazon. Now, you can easily dominate your branded search and ASIN defense placements with bundles. Now, on top of that, Amazon now sends sellers a weekly CSV with 90-day sales data for each active bundle. So the old excuse of, oh, you can't track bundle performance doesn't hold up anymore. For one of our agency managed accounts, we have created hundreds of virtual bundles. The top bundle was 4.6 stars, over 2,000 reviews, and over 90,000 impressions in the last 90 days alone. It actually even ranks organically higher than some of our newer products. Even bundles that pull only 400 sessions a quarter start adding up when you have hundreds of them. So those are the 5 low-hanging fruits we find on nearly every Amazon account audit, plus a bonus that most brands simply overlook completely. If even 2 of them apply to your account, the gap where you are right now and where you could be is bigger than you realize. Every month you wait on these fixes is margin and revenue you're not getting back. So if you want a clear picture of where the gaps are in your own account, my team can help you identify them with a complimentary audit. Follow the first link in the description and book a call with us right now. And after doing that, go watch our breakdown of the 4 phases of the product lifecycle. I walk you through how we grew one brand from $0 to $600,000 in yearly profit, and the framework pairs directly with what you learned in this video.